Retro tracks have been a staple of Mario Kart for a long time now. These are tracks from previous games that make a return to a newer Mario Kart, ideally with some improvements and updates to make the course feel more fresh. Sadly, this has not always been the case, as there have been quite a few retro tracks that have actually been made worse or just not made better at all in their respective games somehow. So in this video, I will be listing the 10 retro tracks that I believe are the worst in the game they reappeared in. Mario Circuit 3 is a classic circuit track, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Wii's version. They didn't do anything to make it worse, but that also is the problem, because they didn't do anything at all. This is my same complaint with the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version of this same track in the Booster Course Pass. This is a track from the SNES, which was a vastly inferior console power-wise. There's just more that could have been done here, so it's not a bad track really, just no effort put into it. Now here to help me with this ranking is fellow Mario Kart content creator Pike Hunter, who does many Mario Kart rankings himself, and I'm going to hand it over to him for number 9 and number 8 of this list.
This track in Mario Kart Wii was known for its difficulty, and with the changes to the minecarts, that is no longer the case. The exhilarating ride through the tracks is gone, along with the half-pipes as well. On top of the removal of the coconuts hurled at you if you dare enter the off-road, the turns just do not work whatsoever. You will find yourself on the boundaries of the road, if not off the road, on every single turn, and that is if you're using a vehicle that can handle the turns. Most vehicles can't even make 50% of the turns this course presents.
Spoiler alert, there's a lot of Mario Kart DS tracks on this list, but hey, it's not my fault its retro selection sucks. As far as Yoshi Circuit goes, it's okay on DS, but it just feels a lot more bland than on Double Dash. And one of the coolest shortcuts ever in the tunnel cut is not there anymore, which was one of my favorite parts of the original. But hey, at least it still has the waterfall shortcut, because if it didn't, it would be competing for number 1. There's not anything catastrophic about this remake, it's just the fact that this version of Choco Island doesn't look anything like chocolate. I'm not even sure what it's supposed to look like, it's very washed out and bland, and looking at it the whole race is not pleasant at all. Plus the background is incredibly boring. I feel like they could have done something better than that for sure, especially since there's GBA tracks with more interesting backgrounds. Now there are 4 Rainbow Roads in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and this is easily the worst. I know it was the first Rainbow Road and it's iconic and everything, but there could have been a lot more done to improve this course. For example, look at N64 Rainbow Road in this very game. It's hard to tell if it's even the same track sometimes, and then you look at this one and it's barely different from the last version on the 3DS. Again, this isn't a bad track, I don't mind racing on it, but there is so much potential here that is not used because it's a quote-unquote classic, and I think it's a shame honestly. And here's Pike Hunter one more time for number 4.
This track was transformed from arguably one of the best tracks on the N64 to a pretty forgettable one on the Wii U and Switch. One thing that made the original version so fun was the constant thrills caused by the tight window you have to pass the traffic beside you. In this remake there are many more lanes, there's more space, and the vehicles have been scaled down. I can appreciate the added anti-gravity on top of the new and cool vehicles, mainly the glider ones.
The only Booster Course Pass track on the list, and for good reason. Last year when the first wave dropped and people saw this course, there was reasonable frustration, because not only did Nintendo pick a very underwhelming track to put in Wave 1, they also put in basically no effort when converting it to 8 Deluxe. As you can see by the terrible graphics, most notably the grass, which was a big point of emphasis when it came out, but the most defeating part is when you compare this track to other ones from vanilla Mario Kart 8, all the way back in 2014 on the Wii U for Pete's sake. Go look at those retro tracks from almost 10 years ago and try to tell yourself they put in even a tiny amount of effort into Toad Circuit. It's not what we should expect as fans, and I'm glad we don't seem to. Very disappointing. In both Mario Kart Double Dash and 8 Deluxe, Baby Park is either loved or hated, but in Mario Kart DS, it's just hated. Why is this, you may ask? Well, for starters, the original was 7 laps, while this one is just 5, so the race is like 30 seconds if you play 150cc, and the other big reason is the fact that there are no special items, which is what made the original Baby Park so unique and chaotic. Now, this isn't the track's fault, it's just how the game is, which is why I didn't put it at number 1, but it's still an extremely boring experience, no doubt. If you haven't noticed already, Mario Kart DS is where retro tracks, and especially Double Dash ones, came to die. Mushroom Bridge is a fan favorite from Double Dash, but it was just disrespected in this remake. Right from the beginning, there used to be a cool little pipe shortcut. It wasn't actually faster, but it was there, but it's not in DS. You used to be able to drive on the sidewalk on the original. Well, that's gone too, and worst of all, the best thing about the original, being able to drive on top of the bridge itself, is now blocked off. It's incredibly frustrating and makes this track so much more boring. I love Mario Kart DS, but its retro tracks are atrocious, and Mushroom Bridge is the nail in the coffin. Hope you enjoyed this list of the 10 worst retro tracks in Mario Kart. Huge thanks to Pike Hunter for helping me with this. If you are not subscribed to him and you enjoy these kinds of videos, go check his channel out because he has lots of ones just like this. And obviously subscribe to this channel too, because that would be pretty neat. And if you want to see more of my Mario Kart videos, here's one on the screen. Thanks for watching and have a great day.